What is good, everybody, and welcome to Team COG. Today, guys, I'm coming to you guys here with a Crusadia Guardragon test hand video. And for those who don't know, this has kind of been my list. I've actually took this to a bunch of remote dual locals. I was going 3-1 for, I think, 3 locals in a row, and then I practically ran into the wrong locals. I was in the back alley, and every one of them had in-perm, and sadly enough, this deck cannot play around in-perm that well, so I just ate a bunch of in-perms and not do so hot that locals. However, I am going to bring you guys a test hand video walking you through the different play lines and different things you can do with this, because I've seen a few people in the community be interested in, like, is there a combo variant of Crusadia that's not like pure Dragon Link? So I thought I'd just showcase, you guys a test hand video, maybe 2 or 3 test hands, make it worth your while. And yeah, so I will just go ahead and shuffle it up. I don't know if I'm going to play this for the extravaganza. I think this will come out Monday after the extravaganza, so you guys will just have to find out. But before we even continue on, if you guys want to help support the channel, check out the links down in the description below. If you're planning on buying any cards, use that TCG Player affiliate link. Check out the Team COG store, and also check out your playmat along with Ultra Pro, our new sponsor to the channel. And then if you guys want to support the channel, the main way you guys can do so, simply by becoming a member. We have like some of the best, like some really low cost tiers, guys, that you guys can help support the channel directly and, get me closer to becoming a full-time streamer / YouTuber. But anyway, we're just going to quickly shuffle up here and then get into the first test hand. Okay, guys, so we're going to do a quick cut. And we're going to go ahead and draw our first 5 cards, which is going to be Magna Rocket, Crown, Waterfront, Leonis, and Reclusia. So this is going to be a pretty interesting hand here. We saw Magna Rocket, so all the rockets are pseudo bricks. They're not really major bricks in our hand because we have the way to get them out of our hand and use them as combo pieces and combo extenders. So yeah, let's just go ahead and fire it off here. Move the extra deck up a little bit. We'll go ahead and fire off Waterfront. No, we won't. We will not fire off Waterfront. And the reason you do this is because if you see one of these in your hand, you have to utilize the rocket in your hand. You don't want to put Waterfront down first. You will actually do that last. So we will actually go ahead and normal summon one of our Crusadias. We'll link it off here to a Magius. You then can special summon either one of these. I would just hold Succession, because since this list is for going first, Succession, wow, Crown. You want to have Crown just holding in, so like it can be another disruption you can end on. So you'll go ahead and special summon out the Magius. You'll trigger Magius effect, adding yourself the Arborea. You can also, if you happen to open Noctovision, you could go for the Spatha combo line. But since we didn't get Noctovision, there's no point in going for that combo line. And I'll showcase you guys the reason why here in a second. So we are still going to go for Spatha. Because Spatha is just a throwaway link in some aspects. She's an important combo piece, but also like she can just be thrown away in like those unnecessary, which is right here. So we're going to go ahead and special here the Arborea and link off these guys here into Halki Fyrax. I know people are probably tired of seeing this card, but guys, like this card is generally fair. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully nobody still has any hatred for this card, and if you guys do, just get over it. Not much just to say there. I will go for Hulk. Hulk's effect is going to summon out the Synchron. You could summon out Arborea, but there's no point in doing that. We'll then link off Synchron here for our Striker Dragon here. Striker Dragon's effect is going to grab us the Boot Sector. You then can activate Boot Sector. So the problem with Boot Sector is, like, normally this card is searched as a throwaway to put back. It's just free real estate to like put back off of your Skull Dread, right? So this is where it is kind of does get some utility out of it. So you go ahead and use Boot Sector, summon out the Magna, link this off for Pisty. Pisty's effect, you'll go ahead and bring back Magna Rocket. And then right here, guys, we go ahead and activate Waterfront. You want to activate Waterfront now because Waterfront's going to count each of these cards going to the graveyard. So we're going to have 4 total cards go to the graveyard. So we'll put this at 4. And then we'll go ahead and put out our Skull Dread. Now, this is where, like, it's very difficult because if they have Ash Blossom, that won't, like, stop us. If they Ash this, cool. We're still going to end on, like, Gamecill plus Crown, which is pretty decent. But what it will do is if they have in-perm, our entire play is just in, and that's where this deck just kind of loses hard to in-perm. There's not really any main deck way to play around it, sadly. And it's just the deck has a very funnel choke point, which a lot of decks really do. Like, heck, even if you think about it, like another deck that I am testing and plan on might take to the Invitational too is Infernoble. Infernobles have a really hard choke point. Actually, 2 of them if you really stop and think about it. Hulk and Auroradon. If they in-perm or stop Hulk and Auroradon, you're done. So I mean, like in theory, this deck is no different than any of those crazy combo decks out there in some ways. So we'll go and go to Skull Dread. We were going to deck, so we'll quickly shuffle real quick and do a quick cut. And then we'll draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we'll just keep Draco and we'll put back... yeah, we'll put back these 3. I will go ahead and use Waterfront's effect here to go ahead and search us a Gameciel. And this is like why I really like this deck, is because it has a win condition in the form of Gameciel, but it's not the only win condition. Like if you guys have seen other, like if you guys have been to the live streams, which you guys can catch and stuff like that, the deck does not need Waterfront to win. Like we put up 3 interruptions pretty easy with just like kind of the rocket engine, and then sometimes like the board that we end on is simply like Echomax, Crown plus Reflage, or Echomax, Crown, and Dweller, and just 3 interruptions is enough. You do not need unlimited negates. Now I know all the Triff acolytes are going to be like, what? Pendulum best deck, we put up unlimited negates. You don't need like unlimited. You just pretty much need a bare minimum of 3 solid interruptions, and you can sometimes halt your opponent. But see, that's where like decks need to have a great turn 3 to be able to practically close the game out. Otherwise, some decks and some strategies can just make a comeback pretty easy. We'll go ahead and use Skull Dread's effect to special summon out the Gameciel. Now once this card touches down, game's in the name. You practically put your opponent on having Dark Ruler No More, but this hand's going to be able to play around Dark Ruler No More and Droplets, and I'll showcase you how. So you go ahead and special summon the Crown here. It'll get a boost. No big deal. Special Draco. Draco will add back the card you normal summon, which was Reclusia. You then link these here into Regulex. You then special Reclusia. Regulex will then grab us Crawler. And then you go ahead and go up here, and you're going to go ahead and make Echomax. And then you have the set Crawler. And the way that this, another way you could have done this is you could have put this here, and then you'd be okay. But if you play it this way, you have the ability to play around Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplets. And the way that you can do that is simply because as soon as your opponent goes Forbidden Droplets or Dark Ruler No More, Droplets is a little bit different. If they happen to send like a trap card with that, a trap and a monster, we just lose the Droplets. I mean, there's not really much we can do there. But if they send like Spell and Monster, 2 monsters, etc., we can play through it because Crawler can chain to the Droplets or the Dark Ruler, and then Echomax's effect says just tribute a Crusadia or World Legacy card, target 1 face-up card in the field, and negate its effects. So that allows us to play around. Kind of if you guys are familiar with the old Night Beam, way Night Beam used to play, when Night Beam would target a set trap, you could chain another trap, then chain your trap to that trap because you're not responding directly to the Night Beam. It's very much like this, since you're not directly responding to Droplets or Dark Ruler No More. It's like the trap Crusadia Crawler is responding to it, and Chain Link 3 is Echomax, which is responding to the Crawler, or yeah, responding to the Crawler. You have the ability to negate cards and stuff like that. It's really cool. But right here, guys, we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 forms of interruption. And depending on if they have that or not, we actually have like 5 to 6, because as soon as Echomax tributes the Crown, you'll get another counter on this, assuming the first thing you do is you negate with Gameciel. It's kind of what you do. As soon as your opponent fires off an effect, you just negate and banish with Gameciel, and then as soon as these cards leave the field, you get 2 more counters, which of course will put you to like 4, which gives Gameciel 1 more negate, and then etc, etc, etc. But yeah, not a bad going first test hand. We'll shuffle it up and do another one and get right back into it. Okay guys, so here we go. We're gonna do the quick cut. And let's see what our first 5 cards are. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right? Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I did. All right. So our first 5 cards are practically... wow, amazing. So this hand is not that great, but it's better. It's not that bad. Really, because we did happen to get to like these cards right here. Seeing like I said, we saw this in 2 of our test hands. You statistically should not see this. It is a 1 of. You're more than likely to see like Synchron and stuff like that. But, you know, Crusadia is a deck cursed with statistics. Like, statistically, any other deck can play the same ratio of 1-ofs that we play or pseudo-bricks we play, and they'll never see them. But Crusadia is different. Crusadia is built differently. You're going to see 100% your pseudo-bricks or your bricks almost every hand. Even if you played 1 brick in the entire deck, 1 brick, you would see it. And that's Crawler. And I bet you Crawler hasn't made an appearance yet, so give him some time here. But with this hand, you're going to want to go ahead and normal summon out your Crusadia. But now it's interesting. Because of how we have to do this, we can, because since we open quick launch, that gives us tuner access, but doesn't give us like a rock, like doesn't give us like what we need. So if we go here, we're automatically going to make the Magius. That's without a doubt, we got to make Magius. We go here and we'll make our Magius, but then we can go So like if we go here, we'd have to throw away the crown, but I mean that's not too bad. If we go here, that will get us Draco. This is going to be one of those hands where I don't think that the Skull Dread draw is going to matter, simply because we opened kind of this right here. Effective Magus. We'll go ahead and grab ourselves Draco. Yeah, I think we go for Draco. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Then we're just going to go ahead and go to our throwaway Link 2, sadly, which is going to be Spatha. But I don't think Spatha is going to be that bad. Yeah, I think we go special, effect, add back the Reclusia. Link here for... So this is, again, Pisty, Spatha's effect to move, Pisty's effect to reborn. Again, this is where, like, we opened Boot Sector. So, like, normally we should have, like, any other card, and then we'd have another card with Boot Sector. And we'd have that additional authority to put back to Skull Dread, but since your boy here is unlucky, we're just kind of getting the... kind of the shaft, and when it comes to, like, the Boot Sector here. We'll go ahead and make Striker Dragon. So right here, we could, in theory, you could go for Spears, make a 2-material Apollosa, but we don't do that here. So I would fire off Quick Launch, bring out the Tracer. Go ahead and get Tracer out of the deck. And then we have a 4-material Skull Dread right here with 3 cards left in hand, which is going to be possible. I think it will gives us better ratios than like the Pathline I was thinking we were going to have to make. So we'll go there, do a quick cut. Link 4 for Skull Dread. Skull Dread effect, we'll draw 4 cards, put back 3, draw 1, draw 2, draw 3, draw 4. So, I mean, it's pretty easy what 3's going back, I think. But see, if we put back, we might want to keep this, because this is a really good follow-up, believe it or not. If we go these 3 here. And then this is why I like cards like Desires. Like, of course, we probably would have rather it been Avarice or something like that, but Desires is just going to allow us to fire off right here to dig us much deeper into the deck, draw into more extenders and stuff like that. There we go. Let's check the Banished. So Waterfront's gone. We're not drawing the other Desires. That's good. Not Avarice either. And yeah, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby. So we'll draw Nocto and Maximus. So this is not going to be a good hand. Sad. Well, no, it is. It is. It is, yeah. We'll go ahead and go Skull Dread's effect to summon out the Nocto. And we'll go ahead and we'll special out Reclusia. Go ahead and make Regulix here. Trigger the Exceed in hand. So chain 2, chain 1. We'll go ahead and grab ourselves the other Exceed. And we'll grab ourselves Crawler. And I'm trying to think, the only thing that we could draw to make it better would be like a Reborn spell. But I think Succession is gone. So we have the likelihood to draw into Reborn or Guardragon, which would get us to Tracer, which would then get us to Savage on top of this. But we'll go ahead and go here and make Dweller, because Dweller's good. A good Blind Dweller is not that bad. We'll then go ahead and go here for Equimax. There we go. Nocto's effect, we draw a card, and we draw Leonis. So, I mean, that's not the best. But we do get the ability, since we did draw Leonis. We didn't special Leonis this turn. We can technically special Leonis and have the ability to negate like blowout cards and stuff like that. But I think holding resources is sometimes better. So like what you would do is you would just go and activate Launch, which would be right here. Set your Crawler, and then you can fire off Crawler. You'll go ahead and grab that Guardragon. And then your follow-up for the following turn is going to be practically 2 Crusadias and a Guardragon. This right here practically means, as long as you do not draw Magna, which we wouldn't draw Magna, As long as you did not draw Magna, you practically, this card was a 1-card Savage for 4. So then, of course, you know, standby phase, you detach this, and you have, like, the ability to 1 interrupt there. And probably the best thing to do would be to put Dweller here, but I'm, like, I'm very particular how I build my boards and stuff, so you could probably put Dweller here to give Equimax a bigger boost. But I do this here because if the follow-up, if we did draw into Guardragon or Monster Reborn or something like that, we would rather have put the Savage here than the Dweller, because Savage is just bigger. So that's the only reason I do that. But yeah, not too shabby. Of course, this shows like one of the more weaker boards the deck can put up, but you know, a Dweller. And then also take note that they're going to have to solve Equimax twice, because you do have... No, we don't. We didn't get access to Arborea. So never mind. They just have to solve Equimax 1 time, which, I mean, wouldn't be too bad. But like I said, you do have a follow-up, and we are drawing a 3rd monster. So, I mean, it wouldn't be too bad. And you could always put this back with Draco, which is very possible. But yeah, so let's shuffle it up and move on into test hand number 3. Okay, guys, we're going to do our quick cut. And then we're going to draw our first 5 cards. So we're going to see Quick Launch again. Tracer, which we don't ever want to see. You know, guys, it just blows my mind how statistically we're seeing all the bad one-ofs, but it's okay. Surprise, motherfucker. And there, what did I tell you guys? What did I tell you guys? He makes his appearance. The man, the myth, the legend. Despite seeing him and seeing this, we are pretty decent. It sucks we opened Draco. Draco's going to have to be like our only Crusadia, but I mean, it is what it is. And then again, like, we could potentially hold out on Waterfront until we get to the very end, which I think we might do just to be safe. Just to be safe. Yeah, we'll just do that. I think that's the safest route to do because, well, no, let's see here. We opened this right here. Yeah, we'll just hold out. I think we're going to have to. So you're going to start by normal summon Draco, which is the worst Crusadia to possibly see. You know, we play 15 Crusadias and we happen to see Draco. We'll go ahead and make Magius, and then we'll go ahead and go Quick Launch to bring out Magna. Normally we'd bring out Tracer, but since we happen to, you know, see the Tracer. But here, we're not going to activate Magius's effect. You're instead going to hold the Magius till you go to Striker, since we didn't open Boot Sector. But we don't open Boot, but we open Crawler. Go figure, right? We go to Striker, so we'll go Chainlink 2 Striker, Chainlink 1 Magius. Magius grabs us that. We're doing this a little out of order, so... But, I mean, we just grab it as it is. Just so, like, you know, like, this is 2, this is 1. So, like, have to Ash Blossom the Striker. But if your opponent is, like, the last locals I went to, they're going to have, like, 5 Imperms in their hand, and you're not going to resolve anything. And your hand's going to be doo-doo, so you can't play through it either. So, you're going to go here. Okay, so I was incorrect. We are not going to need the boot. So, we're going to activate Waterfront. Special. Make a Link 2. Which you guys will never know what it's going to be, but it is going to be Halki Fibrax here. 2 counters. Halk's effect to summon out the Synchron. Rocket Synchron. So we'll go ahead and make the Rocket Synchron here. And then you'll just link it off here, which will put this to 3. Depisty to this zone here. Go ahead and use Waterfront to grab us ye old famous game in the name seal. And again, guys, like if your opponent, so like if you guys didn't notice, we had 3 very powerful monsters that your opponent could hand trap before we get to Skuldred. And it just depends if your opponent knows the deck or not, which a lot of people shouldn't know this deck. But when I went back to my locals, everyone kind of like remembered me. They were like, oh yeah, your deck gave me trouble. And they knew exactly what to hand trap. So I mean, it is what it is, you know. So anyway, effect Depisty, bring back the Synchron, and go into your Link 4, which will put this up to 5. Go to Skuldred. Skuldred's effect, we will draw 1, 2, 3, 4. So not too shabby. I can tell you for a fact that these 3 are probably going to be the 3 going back. I know, like, keeping the Arborea is not that great, but it is a follow-up for the following turn. And the reason you want to hold on to Nocto is... Oh, goodness. If we draw into a Quick Launch, we can fire off Nocto. We'll go ahead and use Skuldred's effect to get Gamma Seal out of the hand. And then I think right here, because we have 1/2 of an Equimax, which is Reclusia. We just actually have to see any other Crusadia that is not Arborea This is not Arborea. It's the only Crusadia we special summon this turn, so like we can't use her effect. So go ahead and go Desires. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then we'll go ahead and look at what we've done here. See the damaged. So not too bad, not too bad. A lot of Crusadia names, but that's why you play 3 of every Crusadia, you know. Go ahead and draw 1. It would be another Arborea. That is crazy. And another Waterfront. So that is awful. I really don't know. Bad RNG on our side, pretty much. Like, that's... wow. I am actually blown away that that is the Crusadia we drew. We banished 2 Dracos. Wow. But I guess it's not the end of the world. Just showcasing you guys my bad luck. I always talk about it on stream and... I always talk about it on stream and in my videos of how much bad luck I have, and there you go. Statistically, we should not have drawn Arborea. I mean, the Waterfront is a given. Like, we do play 4 Waterfronts, and like I said, I don't think we hit one off of the Desires, so the likelihood of us seeing a Waterfront was pretty high. But seeing the Arborea is what blows my mind. Seeing Arborea and not seeing any of the other Crusadias is what's kind of astounding to me. But it do be like that. You don't really... I wouldn't even waste the... summoning this. I would just hold here, and yeah, there's no point in even continuing on. I would just hold. With 5 cards in hand, you do have this guy. You can practically hold the line with him by himself, but you do have the crazy follow-up the following turn, especially if you're drawing Crown for turn. You're just going to be able to, whatever board they put up, you can practically play through it very easy, just because of Reclusia and Arborea being able to like push through stuff pretty easy, getting access to Maximus, and then Equimax go Burr, which, yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up and shoot on into our final test hand here, guys. Okay, guys, so here we go. Final test hand, doing the cut. Will we open anything but mediocre? Let's find out. So we'll go ahead and draw Leonis. That's a good start. Reclusia, that's another good start. Reborn, that's another great start. Waterfront, that is a fantastic start. And Pot of Avarice. So prime example here, since I actually did draw this card. I did implement this card as like my 42nd card in the deck. Because this card right here sucks. Like right now, guys, like if our hand is not that great, if we get hand trapped to death, right? So that's where this would be in Pot of Desires, would just, you know, push through almost anything. Whereas this card right here is dead. Like we can't even fire this off right away. We have to like play into boards or play into like hand traps and before we can get to where we want to be. So just that's a little touch base. I did, however, think that this card would be a great card to draw off of Desires or draw off Skull Dread. So like that's why I did put in here at 1 for that off chance of getting to it, because then you could just put everything back and draw, but you didn't want to see it in your opening hand. So I figured playing 1 of it lowered its ability for me to see it in my opening hand, but drawing it off of Skull Dread, but drawing it off of like Desires or Skull Dread was increased by playing it at 1, I guess. But go ahead and activate Waterfront. We're going to go ahead and normal summon Reclusia, link into our favorite little magician, our favorite little sorcerer, Magius. You'll go ahead and special here. Magius effect will trigger. You got to grab Arborea here because like we don't have a dragon, so we can't really... You have to have dragon plus tuner in order to do like the full combo, but like if you don't see dragon plus tuner, like in this hand, as you guys saw, we didn't see no dragon, but we're going to have... You have access to search out your missing piece, but if you don't have either one, you always go for the tuner. We'll go ahead and make Spatha, which will be our throwaway link. Waterfront effect to get us the good old-fashioned game in the name. Conveniently, we have seen Waterfront, except for, I think, test hand number 2, we didn't see it. And that was just kind of like a very weak and weird hand in general. So, like, you guys got to see what we can put up with a bad hand. And, like, of course, guys, like, hand traps do vary. You could... Like, all the questions were like, well, what if they ash this? What if they imperm this? What if they do that? It all depends on your hand. That's why we don't play any hand traps in this list. We play straight gas. If they hand trap you, push through it. It's simple. Can you push through it? No? Okay, then you lose, you know? Very simple when it comes down to it. So we'll go ahead and special out the Arborea here. I almost said Synchro. Dang, I almost said Linkro. Linkro Shogun into our Halki Fibrax. Halk's effect. Let's go up to 5. Brings us out the little dragon, the little Synchron. Wow, the top card. Okay. We'll go here. We'll turn this into Striker. There we go. Striker's effect will grab us Boot. Finally, we get to use the Boot for like free real estate, which will be awesome. Is it going to be the next card too? No. Close to it, but not the next card. Grab ourselves Boot. and see we're forced to... I mean, technically we could go ahead and fire off Avarice, but I don't think we should yet. We'll go ahead and go Reborn back to Synchron. Link it off for Pisty. Pisty, of course, will bring it back. So there we go, Pisty. Pisty's effect to bring back. Okay, so here we go, guys. This is gonna be interesting. We technically have two other names in the deck we can draw: Draco and Maximus. Draco will get us, like, Draco would be the best card to draw, but we'll just see. We'll see. So we'll go ahead and draw our 4 cards: Reclusia, Call by the Grave, Tracer, and Waterfront. So a awful draw. So I'd say do that. I'd say do it this way here. Go ahead and use Skull Dread's effect. We'll go ahead and special out the Gamma Seal. And then we'll go ahead and go Pot of Avarice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and put back all the extra deck cards. And just draw 1, draw 2. So, wow, we're going to squeeze through it, guys. We're going to squeeze through this barely. That was kind of that's ridiculous when you really stop and think about it. But we'll go ahead. But I mean, like, it's not... Okay, so it's ridiculous because we play so many monster extenders in the deck, and we're straight up drawing dead spells. We're not really dead. I wouldn't say Call by is dead, but, like, Terraforming is dead. It's, you know, so, like, we play way more extenders and, like, monsters just in general than we do spells, but we're seeming to draw spells. But, I mean, love the Curse of the Camera, right? We'll go ahead and special out Reclusia. Reclusia in this will become Regulex. We'll go ahead and special out Crown, get ourselves Crawler. These guys will move on up into Equimax. And then just set 2. And then, like, during the standby phase, fire off Crawler, grab herself the Guardragon, and there you go. And then I'd say, you know, this is one of the main reasons why Call by is limited, because it is a settable, like, disruption that we have. So, I mean, so if you really think about it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This will give 1 more counter here. These both will give 2 more counters. So, like, we have almost 6 to 7 negates just in this hand here. So, not too shabby. And we're drawing for turn. We're drawing another Waterfront, which is bad luck, but it is what it is, kind of. And then, of course, we have Guardragon. However, now that I am looking here, I wasn't really paying attention when I did this. I'd probably grabbing Guardragon's not the best option, maybe just going for Succession, because we only have 1 dragon, and that's the rocket in there, and we really don't want just to bring back the 1 rocket guy. So probably go for Succession instead of the Guardragon. There we go. So just go for Succession, don't go for Guardragon. There's legitimately no reason to go for Guardragon, guys, simply because we only have 1 dragon. If we had Draco in the graveyard, Guardragon would make more sense, but since we don't. And this hand, though, they have to out Equimax twice because of Arborea, so in most cases through your combo line, like, they're always going to have to Equimax twice because of Arborea, which can take up a lot of resources, except for that one hand where we couldn't get to Arborea. We just did kind of like a dragon way. So, but yeah, guys, yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. There was no, you guys saw more of the mediocre and bad hands, and you guys did see the good hands, and it's just kind of crazy because the deck always, like, if you guys have not checked out my streams, go right ahead. The deck has, with proof, proven and performed a lot better than this. But anyway, you know, Curse of the Camera, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to stay healthy and stay safe out there, guys. This is Charles from Team COG, signing out.